fast forward to the main talking point that has continued from last night, very much the forefront of the fallout. It's Darwin Nunez. And the miss, of course, the glaring miss. But it's not so much that. That's drawn a lot of the ire and a lot of the attention, obviously, because obviously it could have been a different story had he have took the opportunity away. But some of the conversations coming out of it, Paul, are... Arne Slot last night, post-game, said he was quite down in the dressing room about it, actually, Darwin. He then was asked about it this morning as well in the press conference. Basically, he can accept misses. What he can't accept, and what is harder for me to accept, he said, is the behaviour after that chance, because basically it wasn't his usual self. He normally works his ass off, was the quote. He was too disappointed because of the miss, of course. What did you make of Arne Slot's general sort of persona and general sort of feelings around Darwin's post-miss performance?
Yeah, I thought he was spot on, actually. I thought he handled it really well because, you can miss chances. Any player can miss them. And okay, Nunez has probably got a bit of a, highlight reel longer than most players in the Liverpool squad in recent years, but it was a miss. And it was a poor one. He should have scored it. We can have the debate around whether he had any confidence that he was going to stick it away. I didn't really think he was going to. It just looked like one of those chances. But Slot was, the biggest thing that disappointed him was his reaction to it. He didn't sort of think, I need to go and win the game here now for the team. I need to go and put a shift in, and this is a huge game, and we need to try and get over the line. He sort of sunk into the, wallowed in the misery of it, didn't he? And he let it really affect his game. There was a chance a couple of minutes later where Salah holds it up and plays him in, and he's trying to get the shot off. He can't work it. Tries to play into Bosley, I think it is, and he just overhits it and goes off for the goal kick. And you could see right there the confidence levels were in the toilet. And when you play for a club like Liverpool, you can't really let those sorts of things impact you too much. If you miss chances, so be it. You go and score the next one. And any sort of number 9 worth the salt over the years has done exactly that. You go back to sort of Robbie Fowler, Michael Owen, Fernando Torres, all these sorts of big number 9s who Liverpool have had over the years. If they've missed a sitter, they've dusted themselves down, they've gone again, and they've stuck away the third or the fourth chance that's come their way. And Nunez really did seem to affect them yesterday, didn't it? And okay, it's not really the first big chance that he's missed, so maybe his confidence is at a little bit of a low ebb. But yeah, I think I've seen someone tweeted after the what game was it? The Wolves, that the dopamine hit of the Brentford goals have worn off now, and I think that's fair enough. I think you're really into the sort of discourse now of, is this Darwin Nunez's final swan song? Will he be leaving in the summer? And I think all that is a legitimate debate to have at this point. No,
most definitely. We spent a large chunk of last week's show talking about sort of the potential moving parts in that number 9 position. He was obviously forefront of that conversation and what have you. And that hasn't really changed in any way, shape or form, regardless of Darwin Nunez. The Jota thing hasn't really pulled up any trees. Likewise, Luis Diaz since. So, yeah, we are still kind of as we are. It's interesting how a lot of sort of the conversation post this has immediately gone to, this wasn't just an off night for Darwin Nunez, was that, as you mentioned, he's got a track record now, an unfortunate track record of doing this type of thing and putting in this type of performance all too often. And a lot of people have jumped immediately to sort of the inevitable departure, the inevitable summer exit. Is this added more fuel to the fire for you necessarily? This might be the beginning of the end of Darwin.
I think so, yeah. I can't really think of why it wouldn't be, really, why it wouldn't be a continuation of that theme that has sort of just grown organically, really, over the last few months. He obviously has the big moments at Brentford, huge win, all down to him, fantastic stuff. But they've been fewer and further between than they have previously under the last 2 seasons under Jurgen Klopp, haven't they? We scored 18 across all competitions last season, 15 in his first season. So, this was an opportunity to really build on that and get to the 20 goal mark and maybe even further. But, he's on 6 in mid-February, 4 in the Premier League, 2 of them in stoppage time at Brentford. So, it's been a really frustrating season for him. And I think a lot of it has been down to the system tweak, really. Slot has always sort of said that his system isn't too dissimilar to Jurgen Klopp's, but I think with number 9, it's night and day. You look at the chances and goals that Nunez scores last season. You go on YouTube and look at it, and you look at there's misses in there, there's difficult chances that he hasn't taken, and there's 18 goals. So the chances were coming very frequently last season for Darwin Nunez. And it was always a case of, well, if he can just take a few more of them, then you're looking at a real player. But the chances have dried up. The goals have, even fewer now, as I say, and you're left thinking, well, what have you got on your hands? Because if he's not contributing with goals or even looking like fashion and chances for other teammates or whatever else, you're just left with a bit of a passenger, really, which you can't have at Liverpool, and you certainly can't have one at the price point that he was at.
Well, no, that's it, absolutely, yeah. And you can't help but feeling like, there's a better solution out there as well, because I don't really, as much as I think you're right in terms of the system and the style that Slot plays, maybe it doesn't all sort of go through the 9 eventually in the way a lot of teams do, but I also don't buy into the argument that he can't get more from what the 9 is, because I don't think personally Nunez, Jota or Luis Diaz are perfect or whatever it is Arne Slot wants, whether it be numbers, availability or just facilitating those around them. Just finally really on the Darwin front, because it's been sort of an evolving story since full time last night, really. He himself took to social media a little bit earlier on today, of course. It's been translated by Twitter, but bear with me. I wasn't the best 3 weeks ago, and I'm not the worst now. If I fall, I get up. You'll never see me give up. I'm going to give it my all until the last day. I'm here in Liverpool. Resilience with the little bicep curl emoji. Clearly, he's very, very aware of the noise. It came not long after the press conference, which I thought was semi-interesting timing, because obviously Arne Slot spoke a lot about Darwin. He was asked a lot about Darwin Nunez, but he certainly answered all the questions that were posed to him. What do you make of that? It's another sign of him, wanting to fight during his time at the club, which is good, ultimately. But again, the fact he's so acutely aware of all the noise can't help but make you draw the conclusion that at some point he's just going to say, do you know what? My time probably is up here. Yeah,
Resiliencia, isn't it? Which was something that I think he's got it tattooed on him, actually. It's certainly a motto that he lives by.
It's a common theme, isn't it? Yeah.
I remember him posting that almost within 2 days of him starting or coming off the bench in a friendly against Manchester United in, was it Singapore or Thailand?
Yeah.
Shortly after he signed, and I think maybe he missed a chance in that one, and it ended up going viral, as these things do. And then he was sort of made to come out and do something similar, wasn't he? So he's acutely aware of what gets said on social media, which is never a good thing. I'm sure all managers would advise the players not to do that, but it's easier said than done with young men with a lot of time on their hands and phones at the ready. So he certainly goes down the rabbit holes seeing what is being said about him. And the thing that I found interesting was when he scores his goals against Brentford, his Instagram account is just a hive of activity of pictures, celebratory pictures. The selfie with Mo Salah, if teammates are posting pictures, he's sort of reposting them onto the story and stuff. So he's clearly very involved in the social media world, which a lot of people of his age, mid-20s, are. So he hears what is being said perhaps more than most, and that combined with this, sort of hothead, passionate, red-blooded male personality that he seems to be, heart on the sleeve style, that is why you sometimes get these outbursts and posts. And he's not saying anything negative, really, is he? He's just sort of providing his own response, his own reply, his own, right to reply. And I think it's fair enough. I think Arne Slot would prefer he didn't, but, he is coming out tub-thumping, I'm going to fight until the end and I'm not going to throw in the towel and this is me. And, part of that mentality is what has made him, win so many admirers in the first place. So, it depends how you see it. I don't think he was wrong to do so. Personally, probably would have advised against it, but that's him, isn't it? And, certainly he is hearing the critiques, shall we say. Obviously, there will be some abuse in there, sadly, but I just think we're coming towards the sort of end of it all now. I
was going to ask you that, do you think it's coming sort of a natural parting of the ways? It definitely looks like that, doesn't it? From most sort of angles, I think it's fair to say. And again, with Darwin Nunez here, sort of outwardly making his feelings known. And it kind of references the Brentford game in a way, because I wasn't the best 3 weeks ago, implying that people were singing me praises 3 weeks ago when I was the hero then. And obviously now not quite so much. But it does again, I'll get you to answer it again, if not, it does feel like the summer could well be an inevitable exit for Darwin.
Yeah, I mean, Liverpool did sort of field tentative inquiries about him in January, didn't he, from the Saudi Pro League? At the time, it's basically all hands on deck. There's a league title to be won, no one's going anywhere, and I'm sticking with what we've got. And that was a sensible approach. I think people at Liverpool will be privately perhaps hoping that that line of inquiry is still there in the summer, because it could be a good way of raising funds to rebuild that forward line. So we'll see. But yeah, it does feel to me, 3 seasons in, we're still seeing the same flaws that were evident, on day one. And it's not like this has been a bit of a calculated cut price gamble. Liverpool bet the house on Darwin Nunez, didn't he? 64 million rising to 85. I think Liverpool have ended up paying at the moment 75 million. I think the final add-ons were based around winning the Premier League and or the Champions League. So, he could walk away in the summer having cost Liverpool £85 million, the most expensive player of all time. And if he leaves as a Premier League winner, I think supporters won't blink twice at that. But it's a lot of money for a club like Liverpool, isn't it? And you have to say, it hasn't really worked out.
No, I agree. Yeah, I agree. But I think in the meantime, there's absolutely nothing that can be done about it right now. So we may as well get behind him.
Exactly,
That's kind of where I'm at with it anyway. And again, want to definitely return to an address in the summer. But if he has some more Brentford-esque impact between now and then more power to that.